You're listening to Men of Abundance, episode 176, and this is Pay It Forward, Aloha Friday. Today we're talking about failure and how we have greatly misunderstood this simple word.
Welcome to Men of Abundance, the podcast for those looking to level up their lives by hanging out with some of the greatest leaders and established professionals in our community, living a life of integrity, honor, and the abundance mentality. Prepare to pay it forward with your host, former Army medic turned lifestyle entrepreneur, Wally Carmichael.
Aloha, Men of Abundance. This is Wally Carmichael, your founder and host of the Men of Abundance podcast, the Pay It Forward community. Today is Pay It Forward Aloha Friday, being released on Saturday. Because I did not get this released yesterday, and I wanted to do a Facebook Live video on this very subject. So I figured I would just do the Facebook Live video and then use the audio to get this out in the podcast to talk about this same topic about failure and how we have misdefined or misunderstood the definition of failure. This is going to free your mind. This is going to be so liberating when you fully understand this and get this simple concept and actually get the definition of failure. But before I bring you that conversation, before I bring you that audio actually, I want to let you know that you can find this audio live and in person. Well, maybe not live, but in person. And you can see me deliver this face-to-face in our closed Facebook community, the Men of Abundance community on Facebook, and you can find that at menofabundance.com. Click on the Members Only tab at the top of the page and request access. Now, this is only for men, and I don't allow joint Facebook groups in there because I want it to be only men. I'm doing everything I can to make this group about men only. And I know there's going to be some women that are getting on their husbands' pages. There's nothing I can do about that. But we are doing our best to have the conversation just amongst us men because I feel it's important to do so. Scratch that. I know it's important for us to do so. I know it's important for us men to get together and have these conversations man to man. And if you want to have a more private man-to-man conversation, then you might be a perfect candidate for either my one-on-one coaching or my group coaching. If you want to see if you would be a fit for our coaching, for coaching with me, then you can go to menofabundance.com, click on the coaching tab at the top of the page, and request a 30-minute discovery call with me. Now, what you're going to get out of this call is, at the end of the call, you and I will decide if we can work together in a coaching relationship, either one-on-one or in a group. And if we don't, there may be a chance that we won't be able to work together. But at the very least, I promise you, you are going to walk away from that conversation with some tools that you didn't have before that will be able to help you in your relationships, possibly in your business, possibly with your coworkers and your boss at work, with your kids, even with your health and fitness. Yes, you will get some tools from that 30-minute call in any of those topics, or possibly maybe even all of them, because I break it down very simple. And then if we make a decision that we can work together, then we'll take the next step after that. So go request your 30-minute discovery call at menofabundance.com/coaching, or just click on the coaching tab at the top of menofabundance.com. And of course, guys, I want to give you the opportunity to be abundant in your life today by paying it forward to everyone that you come in contact with, or at least the people you care about. So share Men of Abundance with everybody. Share it on your Facebook page. Share it on Twitter. Just talk to people about it. Ask them if they've ever heard of the Men of Abundance podcast and give them access. Tell them how to download it, how to subscribe to Men of Abundance on iTunes or whatever podcast player it is that they're listening to, or just access it directly from menofabundance.com. All right, so as I said earlier, I recorded this audio. I actually did a Facebook Live video in the Facebook community, and I wanted to share it with you guys here. This is a very interesting revelation that I had. I discovered this. I can't believe I had never really seen this before, but I think it's going to help you. I'd love some feedback. And in order to give me some feedback, either just feedback right there on the page, if you're listening to this on the website, or in the Facebook community, I would love your feedback on the video that I posted in there and see what your thoughts are about this and if it helped you at all. I'm betting it did. I cannot believe that I seriously have not really looked at the definition of failure. I'm sure I have at one point in my life looked at the definition of failure, but recently I was listening to a coach that I follow on a podcast. Amazing podcast, amazing information. But when she defined failure and then continued on to talk about failure as a way to look at it differently, even after she defined the word failure, and I'm going to define it here in just a minute, even after she defined the word, I believe she still missed the point. And a lot of people have seriously missed the point of failure, the definition. And this is extremely freeing and liberating when you think about what the definition of failure is and how it pertains to your success or not, and how it pertains to, more importantly, your education, and how you treat certain things that you're doing, and gauging whether or not if you are successful in that activity or not. So here's the definition, the actual definition, the first definition. If you look it up, and I Googled it, you can look it up in other dictionaries, I'm sure, as I know you can, but I Googled it, and there may be various changes to that, or what's the word I'm looking for, various definitions. But first comes up the lack of success. Okay, kind of vague, the lack of success, got it, makes sense. But then underneath that, more importantly, and this is what I want to get to, the definition of failure is the omission of expected or required action. The omission of expected or required action. Not the omission of expected or required results. So by that definition, the omission of expected or required action, by that definition, failure is defined as you not taking action. The omission of action, meaning you did not take action on whatever it is that you chose that you wanted to be successful at. So if you know that you're taking action and you're taking the right action, and that may be different based on whatever it is that you're doing. If you want to learn how to play the guitar, then taking action would be learning a new riff every day, or picking up the first action may be out to go out and get a book, or hire a coach, or hire a music teacher. That might be your first action. Then your next actions would be, over the course of time, would be to play the guitar, learn some music, learn some new riffs. If you're wanting to have a better relationship with your spouse, your first action might be to pick up a couple books, or might be to write down in a journal, like I've mentioned before. Write down in a journal what every single day, write down at least one thing that you love about your spouse, that you love about your wife. That might be an action that you would take every single day. And if you're taking action and you're not getting the results that you want, you're not failing by definition. You're not failing because you are taking action. What you're doing is you're learning. You're learning ways that particular action that you took isn't the right action you should be taking, or you need to modify your action. But by definition, you are not failing because you're taking action. Because again, for those of you who just jumped on, failure is defined as the omission of expected or required action, not the omission of expected or required results. You see, when you're taking action, the result that you get from that action is the learning experience. If you're not getting the right result, then you change the action, or you improve the action. You continue that action until you get better at it. Like in starting a business, you took action. You started the business. But there are many different actions you have to take on a daily basis in order for you to be a success at that. Remember this, when you're first getting started and it doesn't seem like everything's going right, it's not going to, because it's brand new to you. Every master at one point in their life was a disaster. Every master was a disaster. Everybody started out poorly. Every actor started out poorly. Every business owner didn't have full success every single time they started a business. and so on and so forth. Everybody who picked up a guitar didn't just pick it up and start playing like Eddie Van Halen or Jimi Hendrix or whoever. Not everybody's a professional at relationships. I don't know that you ever could be a professional at relationships or have it mastered, because our lives change over the course of time. We change as people, right? So think about that. And I would love to hear what your thoughts are on this complete and utter misdefined word, failure. Because failure is basically not taking action. You're just not taking action. If you decide you want to do something, that makes no difference. You may have heard this little story about the 5 frogs that were sitting on a rock, and 4 decided to jump off. How many frogs were still on the rock? The answer is 5, because the 4 that simply decided they didn't take action. They didn't jump off the rock. Deciding to do something isn't going to get you anywhere. Deciding to do something and then taking action, small little steps, from picking up a book, finding a mentor, finding a coach, taking that one step to building a website or picking up the guitar, whatever the case may be, you have to take action. And once you're taking action, then you are in fact succeeding. And what's happening is you're learning through the process. All right, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. I know a couple of you chimed in down there. Let's see what Brandon says. First step to success is the want of the goal, is where fail becomes, in the past. I see you corrected it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so, listen, this is completely liberating to me, and it should be to many of you, because I've always looked at failure as a part of the learning process. But the fact of the matter is, you are not failing as long as you're taking action. What action should you take? It depends on what it is that you're doing. If you want some more about this and you want to learn more about coaching and how I coach people into living an abundant life, a life of abundance in family, faith, finances, and fitness, then request a 30-minute discovery call with me. You can do that by going to menofabundance.com/coaching. All right, guys, like I said, I would love your feedback on that, and if that has helped you at all. And you can do that by either posting down below if you're listening to this on the website, or go into the Facebook community, or even on my private Facebook page, and share your comments. Let me know how this helped you out, and if it made sense to you at all, or if I'm completely out in left field, which is not new to me. Now, go out and live your life of abundance